Cryotic is infamous among the Warframe community as being one of the most tedious resources to farm. Available exclusively from excavation missions, most of the usual rules of Warframe farming do not apply to Cryotic. Speaking of the usual rules though, do check out the video linked above for a full rundown of how to farm in Warframe. In this video though, we'll provide specific guidance on how to farm Cryotic at maximum efficiency. Hey everyone, it's Spopes. So yeah, Cryotic is only available from excavations. Many of the usual things you do to boost your drop rates do not apply, but there is a science, a system to getting this done, getting enough Cryotic to make sure you fulfill the requirements of many of the blueprints they're going to want to make as a Warframe player. We're going to start off by answering the most basic question of them all. How do you get Cryotic in Warframe? As mentioned, Cryotic is a special kind of resource that only comes from excavation missions, and it does not drop from enemies or from containers. You only get it when an excavator finishes its business and disappears. Here's how the math works. You get 100 Cryotic per completed excavation. Each excavation takes 100 seconds, so that equates to 1 Cryotic per second. It also means that if the excavator is destroyed midway, you just get 1 Cryotic for every second it was operational. So say the excavator survives for 68 seconds. That means you get 68 Cryotic. Excavators lose 1% of power for every second they're active. So to get the full 100 Cryotic, you need to make sure that your excavator has enough power to get through those 100 seconds. The way you do this is with power cells. These are special items you can pick up that drop from carrier enemies. So on the maps we're going to be talking about, they're going to drop off of infested drones. Each power cell provides your excavator with 20% energy, which is the same as 20 seconds of activation time. So just to sum all that up, to get Cryotic, you have to do an excavation mission, power up excavators so they're active for their full 100 seconds, and then you'll collect 100 Cryotic when each excavation is done. Of course, it's not quite that easy. You also have to defend your excavator because enemies are going to be trying to destroy it. With all that in mind, what is the best excavation mission to run when you're farming Cryotic? Well, ideally, you will have an excavation void fissure at your disposal. But as you can see, neither on normal difficulty or steel path do I have an excavation fissure. Fissures show up completely randomly. You can't predict which one is coming next. So while this is the best option for reasons we'll get into in a moment, it is not reliable. You never know when an excavation fissure will be available, so you may have to go with an alternative. The two best options, if you don't have a void fissure available, are Hyricon on Pluto and Tikal on Earth. Remember that the level of the enemies, the level of the mission does not matter. You will always just get a maximum of 100 Cryotic from the excavator unless you boost it, which we will also get to later. But even boosted, which mission you do doesn't matter. So there's really no difference between Tikal and Hyricon except enemy level and the reward pool. Also, I currently have a Kuva Lich on Earth who I'm just too lazy to get rid of, making me not want to do Tikal because he's going to steal some of my Cryotic. But aside from that, Hyricon on Pluto is often considered to be the better option because you get Axii relics from Pluto nodes. Axii relics are otherwise pretty difficult to come by. That's going to be a passive bonus reward as you farm Hyricon. Now, why are the two nodes we're talking about Hyricon and Tikal specifically? That's because these are both Dark Sector nodes with infested enemies. For the most part, infested are melee attackers, so you don't have to worry about them damaging your excavators until they're right next to them. Dark Sector gives additional rewards and switches the enemy type to infested, which is easier to deal with for excavation missions. Again, Hyricon is generally considered to be better because you get Axii relics, but it is higher level as well, making Tikal the perfect low-key farm, assuming you don't have a Kuva Lich lurking around it. Let's talk a little bit more about why Void Fissure Excavation is going to be a better option if you can manage to roll one of these. For every successful reward interval you reach in a Void Fissure, so in the case of excavations every 200 Cryotic, you get a passive bonus that applies for the rest of the mission. At round 4, for instance, you get a plus 25% resource booster that increases your Cryotic yield. Then every 4 rounds that goes up again to a maximum of a 100% resource booster at round 19. Plus, you of course crack open Void Relics during Void Fissures, you collect Void Traces to upgrade your relics, and you get massive amounts of focus and affinity. So yes, if at all possible, do farm your cryotic through excavation void fissures. But again, it is a crapshoot as to when these are going to come up, making Hyricon and Tikal great backup options. Now, if you want to get cryotic at a faster rate, what can you do? There are three main ways to accomplish this, one of which we've already mentioned. But we're going to start by talking about orange resource boosters. These are available exclusively through the Warframe market or as login rewards, and they double the number of resources you get from pickups. This does apply to cryotic, so if you run one of these, you'll get double the cryotic every time a drill finishes up. These do only apply to you, not your whole squad, and they are not available as blessings at relays, something I unfortunately did not learn until after my last video, but thanks to the community for the correction there. The issue with these boosters is they are expensive, but there's no denying that they will speed up the cryotic farming process considerably. Then, of course, there's the void fissure bonus we already talked about. The longer you do void fissure excavation, the more cryotic you'll get from each drill. One of the many reasons that getting your cryotic through void fissures is the best way to go. And lastly, Resourceful Retriever, the mod for beast companions, does give you an 18% chance for your cryotic to be doubled every time you get some from a completed drill. You can put this on a Smita, on a Panzer, on a Kubro, whatever you want. It is a relatively low chance, but it will increase the amount of cryotic you get over time. With that out of the way, let's talk about what will not increase your cryotic yields. First of all, drop chance boosters. These are available as blessings from relays, but they will not do you any good. Getting cryotic is not based on drop chance, but simply how many drills you finish off. So don't bother with that. Also, the charm mod on the Smita Kavat will have no impact here. This only has a chance to give you the rare resource from whichever map you're doing. Cryotic is not a rare resource, technically. It just comes from your drills, so charm will not impact your cryotic yields. Loot frame abilities like Desecrate on Necros will also have no impact here. Necros is useful though on excavation missions, something we'll cover here shortly. But yes, because cryotic does not come from enemy kills, Desecrate will not get you any additional cryotic, at least not directly. At the same time, however, loot frame abilities like Necros' Desecrate, like the Pilfering Strangle Dome mod on Korra, or Pilfering Swarm on Hydroid, these will increase the drop rate of power cells, which are those little pickups that you need to power your excavators. I meant to mention earlier that power cells are marked by a little gold icon on your map, and every time that Desecrate, for instance, applies to the body of one of these power cell carriers, there's a chance for a second power cell to pop out. So any Warframe that increases enemy loot drops will give you more power cells. I recommend Necros because he's my favorite loot frame, but Korra, Atlas, and Hydroid are also good options, and I am so sorry to Hydroid for not mentioning him in my last video. Hydroid, you are not nothing to me. I literally just forgot. Before we move on, this is also a good opportunity to discuss which weapons are best for cryotic farming. The community often points to Ignis Wraith as a great option. It's easy to get and it clears entire rooms of low-level enemies basically instantly. Any other fast-clearing primary though, such as Exceltra Prime, will also work here. And then when it comes to melee weapons, the Gram Prime is often cited as a great entry-level option because of its relatively long range and slash damage. Slash damage, of course, being important for maximizing Necros' Desecrate. You can learn more about that from my overall farming guide. That's linked in the description. So Gram Prime does high damage and lots of slash. You also have Cronin Prime, basically any melee weapon that does lots of slash to make sure Desecrate works at maximum efficiency. But now I've covered how to set yourself up, which missions are best, how to boost your cryotic properly, which weapons and frames to use. Let's take a moment to discuss best practices for cryotic farming. I will touch a little bit on how to do this with a perfectly optimized group, but I'm just going to be honest and say you're probably not going to get that with excavation. People generally only run this to get cryotic, so it's pretty hard to get a group together. You can go in recruitment chat and try to get people to do it that way, but again, it's just not a very high popularity activity, so the only time you'll even get a full squad most likely is when you're doing excavation void fissure. But ideally, this is how it will go. You'll have a 4-man squad consisting of Necros, Korra, Frost, and maybe Gara or Nova. Necros doubles the loot. Korra also increases your loot while providing a defensive barrier. Frost and Gara provide additional defense of the excavator, while Nova increases the speed of enemies to ensure high power cell drops. So whether you're in an ideal squad or not, the basic rotation of how excavation should work goes something like this. At the very beginning of the match, you'll only have one drill available, So all of you run and lock down Drill A. Once Drill A is fully fueled, one defender stays behind, so say a Cora or a Frost, while the rest of the team, the other 3 players, go on to Drill B. Those players fully fuel up Drill B, the defender lays down abilities to protect Drill A for the last 30 seconds or so, then moves on to Drill B. At around the same time, the rest of the squad goes on to Drill C. The defender then locks down Drill B and defends it, and Drill B has been fully fueled already, and then you rinse and repeat. With this leapfrogging method, you should ideally have 3 excavators running all the time that are well defended, will not die, giving you around 200 cryotic a minute. Now again, that isn't a fully optimized scenario. I often just find myself running around alone with my Necros Prime, trying desperately to figure out what the rest of my team is doing, and I basically feel like I'm running solo. But yeah, if you can optimize your team and really communicate, go from drill to drill with maximum efficiency, you can get over 1,000 cryotic in just a few minutes. But yeah, that's basically the long and short of it. Just to summarize one more time, you should always prioritize Void Fissures when possible because of the passive loot, and also because you will get more cryotic over time. For maximum efficiency, you should at least consider investing in a resource booster, even though these are very expensive. You should also try to run with a Cora or any other frame that can defend the excavators. It's going to make things a lot easier. And definitely choose the Dark Sector infested excavation nodes, Hyricon, or Tikal, if no excavation Void Fissures are available. And just a brief note about Steel Path. Running excavation on Steel Path does not give you any more cryotic. The only time it makes sense to do Steel Path is if there is an excavation Void Fissure on Steel Path, but not on normal difficulty. And then once you get into a mission, fuel up the first excavator all the way, and then leapfrog from drill to drill, trying to keep 3 running at all times. I really hope this guide was helpful as you figure out how to get all the cryotic you need. If you do have any feedback, additional tips, even any inaccuracies, I mean, I'm a genius, so I'm sure there aren't any, but if I did get anything wrong, please do let us all know in the comments. I'm just getting back into Warframe after a 6-year break, learning as quickly as possible, but I am so grateful to everyone in the community who is filling my knowledge gaps, helping me learn even faster. So yes, let us know what you think about the guide, whether or not it helped you, and any additional tips or corrections you'd like to share. And while you're commenting, please do also take a moment to like, hype, and subscribe. And if you'd really like to help out the channel and support its growth, please consider becoming a member, check out my merch, or leaving a donation. I am so grateful for the support of my community, but as a Christian man, I am even more grateful to God. So we're going to finish up the video, as always, with a prayer to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Lord, thank you for Warframe and its excellent and supportive community. Thank you for Digital Extremes being such a transparent and honest developer. Lord, I do ask you to bless Warframe and Digital Extremes, that you bless everyone watching this video with profitable cryotic farming and profitable and enjoyable experiences in Warframe in general. Lord, I thank you for making it possible to make this video today. I give you all glory for my channel and for this video. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. That's going to do it, everyone. Thanks so much for watching until the end. Before you go, please do like, hype, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, turn on notifications, because I'll be back soon with new content.